The route to the Valencian classics is a cultural route through the lands of the great classical writers of the Valencian literature of the Valencian Golden Age: Ausiàs March, Joanot, Martorell and Joan de Corella, the three related to the court of the Duke Alfonso of Aragon and Foix the Old. The route evokes the Valencian 15th century and its heritage of the sea, of valleys and mountains, of gastronomy and wines, and the various accents of the Valencian language with the echoes of the immortal words of the most universal Valencian writers. Itinerary. The route includes the following monuments and towns: Gandia, Collegiate Basilica of Gandia, Ducal Palace of Gandia, Convent of Santa Clara, Sant Marc Hospital, Beniaya Manor House of Ausiàs March, Alfa Monastery of Sant Jeroni de Cota Alba, Albaida Parish Church of the Asunción, Palace of the Miller Aragon, Segres Museum, Cocentaina Palace of the Counts of Cocentaina, Cocentaina Castle, the Valley of Zalo, Zalo Manor House of Joanot, Martorell route to the Martorell, Dania Castle of Denia. The route step by step. Gandia. The ducal city was the epicenter of the literary renewal of the 15th century, where resided the Martorell, the March and the de Corella families. Collegiate Basilica of Gandia, example of Valencian religious Gothic, returns as the echo of classics and also the Borgia family, that consolidating the Duchy of Gandia in 1485. Ducal Palace of Gandia. In the ducal palaces of Gandia, these Valencian classical writers were entered in the letters and arts of chivalry. Convent of Santa Clara. Its artistic treasure recalls the splendor of the ancient Duchy of Gandia. A canvas of walls from the 14th century on the river Serpis closes the medieval remains of the city. Sant Marc Hospital. Nowadays it's an archaeological museum. Its Gothic arches take us back to the Middle Ages. Beniaya Manor House of Ausiàs March, Alfa Monastery of Sant Jeroni de Cota Alba. The father, Pere March, and the two wives of the well-known Valencian medieval poet Ausiàs March are buried in this monastery. The monastery is one of the most historic monastic constructions in the Valencian community. Albaida Parish Church of the Asunción. The parish was built in the 13th century. The building was built between 1592 and 1621 in Valencian Gothic style. There are a set of interesting oil paintings by Josep Segres. Palace of the Miller Aragon. The remains of the walls from the 15th century configure a monumental heritage. Inside this palace nowadays is the International Museum of Puppets of Albaida. Segres Museum. House Museum of the Valencian painter Josep Segres. Cocentaina Palace of the Counts of Cocentaina. This palace belonged to the de Corella family in the 15th century. Here we can also find towers and canvases of the wall. The medieval quarter, Cocentaina Castle. The castle dominates the whole region. Through these mountains we will find the fridges, snow deposits that were used for the ice trade. The Valley of Zalo. In search of the sea, it is obligatory to go through a land of mountains. The valleys of the Marina Alta, where Al-Azraq, the Muslim leader, resisted the Aragonese conquest in the 13th century. The Valley of Zalo belonged to the Martorell and the March families. Zalo Manor House of the Martorell. In Zalo we can find this manor house of the writer Joanot Martorell refurbished in the 19th century. Route of the Martorell. Denia. Alfonso of Aragon and Foix was also Count of Denia, a city ruled by an attorney general and Ausiàs's father, called Pere March. Castle of Denia. On the walls and the castle, a contemporary of Ausiàs drew some graffiti or engravings of ships which were in the harbour. This is March's maritime landscape, and it is evoked in the play written by Joanot. Martorell, Tarrant Blanc, visits to the Reset Quarter, the Roads Caves, the feet of Montgo Mountain are a must.